Hey friends, this is Screwtape Letters Chapter 4 by C.S. Lewis. This book is about a higher level ranking demon, letters to his nephew, a lower ranking demon, advising him on how to corrupt his patient. If you're interested in this book is old enough that it is free online. You can just Google it, like PDF, C.S. Lewis, the Screwtape Letters, and you should be able to get yourself a copy. But this chapter 4 is all about prayer, and I found this one very interesting. My dear Mr. Wormwood, the amateurish suggestions in your last letter warn me that it is high time for me to write to you fully on the painful subject of prayer. You might have spared the comment that my advice about his prayers for his mother proved singularly unfortunate. That is not the sort of thing that a nephew should write to his uncle, nor a junior tempter to the undersecretary of a department. So he's the undersecretary of this department, Screwtape. It also reveals an unpleasant desire to shift responsibility. You must learn to pay for your own blunders. The best thing, where it is possible, is to keep the patient from the serious intention of praying altogether. When the patient is an adult recently reconverted to the enemy's party, like your man, this is the best done by encouraging him to remember, or to think he remembers, the parrot-like nature of his prayers in childhood. And that reminds me of how I grew up as a Catholic, just Hail Mary, our Father, Hail Mary, do 3 Hail Marys, do 2 Our Fathers, and you're forgiven. That's not how Christians pray. In reaction against that, he may be persuaded to aim at something entirely spontaneous, inward, informal, and unregularized. And what this will actually mean to a beginner will be an effort to produce in himself a vaguely devotional mood in which real concentration of will and intelligence have no part. One of their poets, Coleridge, has recorded that he did not pray with moving lips and bended knees, but merely composed his spirit to love and indulged a sense of supplication. That is exactly the sort of prayer we want. And since it bears a superficial resemblance to the prayer of silence as practiced by those who are very far advanced in the enemy's service, clever and lazy patients can be taken in for quite a long time. And that reminds me of one thing that Christians do is they sit quietly and wait on the Lord. And this is not against any religion, but at the very least, they can be persuaded that the bodily position makes no difference to their prayers, for they constantly forget what you must always remember, that they are animals, and that whatever their bodies do affects their souls. It is funny how mortals always picture us as putting things into their minds. In reality, our best work is done by keeping things out. If this fails, you must fall back on a subtler misdirection of his intention. Whenever they are tending to the enemy himself, we are defeated, but there are ways of preventing them from doing so. The simplest is to turn their gaze away from him towards themselves. Keep them watching their own mind and trying to produce feelings there by the actions of their own wills. When they meant to ask him for charity, let them. Instead, start trying to manufacture charitable feelings for themselves and not notice that this is what they are doing. Boy, this reminds me of today. We're all about our feelings. When they meant to pray for courage, let them really be trying to feel brave. When they say they are praying for forgiveness, let them be trying to feel forgiven. Teach them to estimate the value of each prayer by their success in producing the desired feeling. And never let them suspect how much success or failure of that kind depends on whether they are well or ill, fresh or tired at the moment. But of course, the enemy will not meantime be idle. Wherever there is prayer, there is danger of his own immediate action. He is cynically indifferent to the dignity of his position and ours as pure spirits, and to human animals on their knees. He pours out self-knowledge in a quite shameless fashion. But even if he defeats your first attempt at misdirection, we have a subtler weapon. The humans do not start from that direct perception of him. We can't feel him, which we happily cannot avoid. I had to grab my puppy. They have never known that ghastly luminosity, that stabbing and searing glare which makes the background of permanent pain to our lives. If you look into your patient's mind when he is praying, you will not find that. If you examine the object to which he is attending, you will find that it is a composite object containing many quite ridiculous ingredients. There will be images derived from pictures of the enemy as he appeared during the discreditable episode known as the Incarnation. There will be vaguer, perhaps quite savage and puerile images associated with the other two persons. There will even be some of his own reverence and of bodily sensations accompanying it, objectified and attributed to the object revered. I have known cases where what the patient called his God was actually located up and to the left at the corner of his bedroom ceiling, or inside his own head, or in a crucifix on the wall. But whatever the nature of the composite object, you must keep him praying to it, to the thing that he has made, not to the person who has made him. You may even encourage him. She's biting my hand. You want to get down or you want to stay here? You may even encourage him to attach great importance to the correction and improvement of his composite object, and to keep it steadily before his imagination during the whole prayer. For if he ever comes to make the distinction, if he ever consciously directs his prayers, not to what I think thou art, but to what thou knowest thyself to be, our situation is for the moment desperate. Once all his thoughts and images have been flung aside, or, if retained with a full recognition of their merely subjective nature, and the man trusts himself to the completely real, external, invisible presence, there with him in the room and never knowable by him as he is known by it, why then it is that incalculable may occur. In avoiding this situation, this real nakedness of the soul in prayer, you will be helped by the fact that the humans themselves do not desire it as much as they suppose. There's such a thing as getting more than they bargained for. Your affectionate uncle, Screwtape. Well, that just blew me away. And one of the things I did learn, put this bell down, as a Christian, is how to pray and have an actual relationship with God. All you need to do, you do not need to recite prayers. All you need to do is talk to him. And I personally like to do it in the car when I'm driving because I'm alone. And I will just pour out my heart and soul and ask him for what I want to ask him for. And, just turn off that radio and just talk to God like he's your friend. Pour out all your hard feelings and all that. Just speak with him. It's a relationship. It's not reciting Hail Marys and Our Fathers. And like you said about the inanimate objects, that's not God. It says over and over in the book not to make images of anything up in heaven. And that includes a crucifix. And as a Catholic, I never knew that. When I started reading the Bible, I can no longer wear my crucifix. But it's considered an idol in the Bible. Anyway, I hope you'll start just talking to God like he's your friend and see what happens. Have a great day. God bless you.